Hey guys, what's up? Sat Sri Akal. This is your host Samarth Kagdiyal. So guys, there was this very famous doctor in Japan who died in 2017 at the age of 105 years. Now mind you, 105 years is actually 10 years older than the age of my role model Charlie Munger. You know, Charlie Munger is 95 years old today. So the name of this doctor was Shigeaki Hinohara. Shigeaki Hinohara. I hope I pronounced it right. I happened to read an interview that he gave, and there were three things which really stood out to me. So the first thing was that he said, I use a lot of olive oil in my diet. It is great for the arteries and keeps my skin healthy. Now, if you look at the diet of people who have lived a really long life, you will find that olive oil is usually a part of their diet in some way or the other. I mean, it's like olive oil is the oil of youth, you know, from the fountain of youth, you can say olive oil is the oil of youth. The only problem is that olive oil is a lot costlier than the normal sunflower oil or, you know, the normal vegetable oil. And so not a lot of Indian households actually use olive oil, but they should. The second thing that struck me was that he said, my lunch is usually just milk and a few cookies. Or I don't have lunch at all if I am too busy. So many times he would just skip his lunch. Now does that mean he was doing intermittent fasting? No, because this sort of fasting, which is done between breakfast and dinner, it would be a fasting window of roughly, let's say 10 hours or 12 hours max, you know, 9 a.m. breakfast, 9 p.m. dinner. So definitely not 16 hours or more. But the key point here is that it is a proven fact that the lesser you eat, the longer you will live. Whether you skip your breakfast, whether you skip your lunch, or whether you skip your dinner, it will work with all of them. The third thing that struck me was that he said all people who live long share one thing in common: none of them are overweight. Now if you spend some time thinking, you will realize that this statement is actually very true. You might know many people, maybe your grandparents, your relatives, who are in their 80s or 90s, and I can bet none of them would be overweight. So if you want to live a long life, the first step would be to shed those extra kilos that you are carrying. And there is something else that you should know. Japan actually has one of the highest life expectancies in the world. People in Japan, on average, live a really long time. Life expectancy in Japan is almost 90 years, which means the average person in Japan lives up to 90 years old. And our doctor lived up to 105 years old. Just imagine that. And a big contribution to this long lifespan is because of the Japanese diet and lifestyle. I will be making a detailed video on the diet and lifestyle of Japanese people in the future. Meanwhile, that's all for the day. I hope you learned something out of it. This is Kagdiyal signing out.